Tulsi Gabbard announced her campaign in January, I did a comprehensive look at her public statements, everything that she's really said about Assad, and I could come with no quote where she does anything that could be fairly characterized as apologizing for Assad or praising Assad, expressing kinship for Assad, etc. It does not exist. It's the refuge of the scoundrel, really, where if they want to ostracize her and stigmatize her and not respond on
by raising valid questions, valid criticisms that Kamala Harris has still yet to refute. Her version of her way of refuting those accusations was to minimize the person asking those questions and then gaslight about that person. We're not even going to get into if the allegations of Assad apologists are accurate or not. We're not going to get into that because that's not germane to the questions that were asked. I'm not even going to entertain that.
Like, there was a period where she would go and give interviews, and there was one on The View in particular that I'm thinking of now, but virtually every interview she did at the beginning of her campaign, they would basically ask her the question, why do you love dictators? Why do you think that this, genocidal guy is awesome? And it was just repeated straw mans of her actual beliefs, because she said time and time again, she actually called him a brutal dictator, but she says, hey, the U.S. shouldn't get involved, and we shouldn't arm and prop up these jihadist rebels that we pretend are moderate rebels. And it's just been the reaction to that. It's like you'd think she came out for pedophilia or something.
Which didn't exist before. No? And so
Joy Behar, they didn't have open slave trading before we invaded? She literally just said that. Joy Behar, they didn't have open slave trading and ISIS and terrorists inside Libya before?
That was her gotcha question right now.
They didn't do that before? She had no idea. These women have no idea what they're talking about, but they do know the propaganda they're supposed to repeat.
Didn't Joy used to be sympathetic to Bernie? Wasn't she at some point?
Well, people say she was, but
saying if you topple Assad, the ones who will take over are terrorist groups like ISIS and Al-Qaeda, and the very first thing that they will do is massacre religious minorities.
This is the
Syria.
people on the ground.
These are religious leaders. These are
so the religious leaders are saying this, and Assad is supposedly secular.
They were taking a very realist view. Like, this is the reality that they're facing. We walked through
positions. Is Assad a brutal dictator who has gassed his own people? Absolutely, as Tulsi will readily tell you. But so was Saddam Hussein. And if you, like me, opposed the Iraq War, your position was, in essence, sometimes it does not serve American interests to topple a regime, even when the leader is a brutal dictator and a war criminal. It's all fine and good to say you oppose the Iraq War now that Saddam is gone, as I do.
There's no disputing the fact that he has used chemical weapons and other weapons against his people. There are other terrorist groups in Syria who have used similar chemical weapons and other weapons of terror against the people of Syria.